Next up, it's been more than 6 years since journalist and New Hampshire native James Foley was publicly executed by members of ISIS. And today, 2 men were charged in a U.S. federal court in his murder, as well as those of 3 other Americans, Kayla Mueller, Stephen Sotloff, and Peter Kasich. While the man responsible for the actual executions was killed in a 2015 drone strike, the Justice Department announced this morning that Alexander Cote and El Shafee El Sheikh are being charged with hostage-taking resulting in death, conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to provide material support to terrorists, among other charges. The pair had been held in U.S. military custody in Iraq since they were captured in 2018, and the U.S. and Britain had been fighting over where they should be prosecuted since both grew up in Britain. But after the death penalty was taken off the table by death penalty-friendly U.S. Attorney General William Barr, British courts agreed to hand over the evidence they were holding to help the U.S. file charges. And as the DOJ made the announcement today, they delivered this message to the parents of those who were killed.
Although we cannot bring back your children, we will do all that we can, obtain justice for them, for you, and for all Americans.
I'm joined now by James Foley's mother, Diane Foley. Diane, thank you so much for making time for us.
I'm so grateful to you. This is a day I am grateful, very grateful for this day.
Well, I'm assuming I knew what the answer to that question would be. What was your reaction when you first heard that these men would be charged here, would be on their way to the United States?
Well, once the death penalty was waived by our Attorney General, that really allowed the UK to release the information that was really important to make sure that we had the strongest case possible for these 2 individuals. So I'm very grateful.
By the way, the reason that was so critical in these negotiations, for those who don't know, is Great Britain has abolished the death penalty, and without it being taken off the table by the Department of Justice, they wouldn't have done it. But from what I remember a remark by James' father a couple of years ago on a New Hampshire station, it wasn't just about getting the Brits to release evidence. There were other reasons you didn't want these men executed, were there not?
Absolutely. I've never thought the death penalty was helpful. I feel the violence begets more violence, and I think as a matter of national security, we lose a lot of information about these men, what they were doing. I'm hoping they will give us implicate other individuals. They weren't the only ones. There were thousands of jihadists that may be in hiding in refugee camps or in our countries, for that matter. So I'm hopeful that they will be able to give us a lot of information and also help us find the remains of our children who were killed.
You and the 3 other families succeeded where so many others have failed. Not only did William Barr take the death penalty off the table, but these men will not be tried in a military tribunal. You wanted them tried in a civilian court. That will be what the outcome is. Why did that matter to you?
Because I think it's important that we do the opposite of what they did to Jim and the others. I think it's very important that they have a fair trial, that they have an opportunity to present their side of the story, and that we have an opportunity to present what we feel alleges that they were the culprits, or some of them. I just think it's very important that the world also know how horrific their crimes were, and for them to have an opportunity to really hear from others the impact of what they chose to do.
Many people knew your son's work, and on a regular basis, Charlie Sennett, my colleague from Ground Truth Project, has talked about the incredible work your son did. Is the world any safer for journalists like Jim Foley in 2020 than it was in 2014?
I think the risk has gotten greater, to be honest, even domestically as well as internationally. But I do think, thanks to the work of so many press freedom groups and our little bit in terms of our safety curriculum for aspiring journalists, that I think journalists are more aware, more savvy, aware of how to protect themselves and their sources. I'm hopeful that they know what they're getting into, if you will.
Humility is a wonderful quality, but I know enough to know, Diane, that it is not a little bit that your work is doing. Tell people about the foundation named for your son and what its goals are.
Well, we seek to advocate for all Americans who are taken hostage abroad and to promote journalist safety worldwide. So we work with an international alliance for a culture of safety to promote access to all the best safety training, even for freelancers who often don't have access. Sure. And that's why we've developed the curriculum for aspiring international workers and journalists, so they know how to be shrewd when they go out in the world. It is a dangerous place these days, and digital age has brought with it other threats, for sure, that can directly impact a young journalist starting out.
You know, most of us know of your son's work, as I said, but most of us didn't know your son. Could you spend the last couple of seconds talking a little bit about Jim?
Well, Jim was amazing. He was the oldest of our 5 children. And what I didn't know is that he aspired to be a man of moral courage. And that's what we seek to do in his Legacy Foundation, is to encourage